Yo, what's good, y'all? We got Severance Season 1, Episode 7 breakdown, recap, and review, and theories, man. I know I'm late on this, man, but hey, I watched all of them already, man, but on Episode 7, I just saw it right now. Hey, it's getting crazy. It's getting crazy, man. All these episodes been crazy, I ain't gonna lie. And, you know, in a good way. But, yeah, like it up, sub, and, yeah, let's get it.
When my husband passed, I thought I saw him everywhere.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm tired of her ass, though, no cap. She just a nurse and everything, man. I ain't gonna lie, I'm tired of her ass.
No it was just so hard. Does Mark ever think he sees her?
Hey guys, Pete here. Today I'll be talking about Severance Episode 7. More major developments unfolded in Defiant Jazz, and I have to say that I love them all equally. We lost one of my favorite innies, and that's not the biggest thing that happened. That's not even the only major character death there was. And this is good, we can use this. Milchek delivers one of his best all-time lines.
The music dance experience is officially canceled.
Official cancel. What?
And I'm not even sure that was the second best line in the episode. There's outie stuff, innie stuff, severed, non-severed. It's a lot to take in.
Yeah,
and we also
a lot
have
of
the
shit.
Release of the Lexington Letter companion book in between episodes. I'll be recapping the highlights and what I think it all means right after this quick spoiler warning. If you haven't watched Severance Season 1 Episode 7 yet, then this video won't be for you. And with that out of the way, let's get into it. I think that we should just start out with the ending because I've seen this, I've thought about this, and I really don't know what to make of it. In the closing sequence, after getting really drunk and probably scaring Alexa away for good, Mark tapes back together the photo of his wife that he tore up earlier. Yeah. And while he's doing that, he's saying all the things that he loved about her, which sounded a lot like how they have their outies described to them when they do a wellness session. That's also when they're encouraged not to react to any of the facts because they're supposed to enjoy them all equally without preference. And of course, at the end, he says he loves all those things about her equally. It turns out when we look at the picture that his wife looks exactly like Miss Casey. And that's where things get...
Oh, shit. No. Oh, no way. I ain't even look deep like that. So the whole time, I mean literally the whole time, that was her. But he don't know her because she in the weird body. Nah, that's trippy. That's trippy as hell though. So the whole carson, it was a fake thing. This to get me in. Nah, that's trippy as hell though. Nah, that's trippy.
Equally. It turns out when we look at the picture that his wife looks exactly like Miss Casey. And that's where things get confusing because
like, what?
It does seem that his wife died in a car crash.
Somewhat died.
It feels like a pretty elaborate thing to fake, considering his family believes that.
Well, yeah. Or maybe they told the family.
Hear Devin talking about it just in this episode. And maybe more than that, he seems to be mourning her. Not so much in the way that she decided to leave him and say become a permanently severed employee. Either way, there's someone who's labeled as a part-time severed employee who looks exactly like his wife. And Harmony Cobell seems to be trying to figure out if he remembers her or if they recognize each other, but it's hard to say why. So I'm interested to hear what you guys think about this. Please let me know in the comments. I know this got spoiled in the subreddit a couple of weeks ago, so maybe you've been thinking about it a little bit longer.
I did. Reddit.
For clues.
Reddit going crazy.
Casey's strange behavior that seems to be somewhat consistent with newborn innie behavior. Her being color coordinated with the candle in Mark's wellness session, and Petey's claim that some severed employees never leave the building. Harmony questioning if Mark ever sees her in this episode is probably the biggest one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You talking about you ever see her, and that's her right there in the building. So that's why she said that shit. It makes sense.
This kind of continues to add
Makes
to the mystery
sense, though,
that surrounds
kind
her
of.
more than it hints at what's going on with Gemma. And I do have to get into everything else that happened, so I'll come back around to this at the end. The opening sequence picks up where we left Mark at the end of the last episode.
Yeah.
We get some introduction to this character that Grainer and Cobell refer to.
But we still don't
as
know what she
Regabi.
is a little bit.
She tells Mark that she's the person that implanted his chip, and that she's
Yeah,
still
yeah,
the
yeah.
only person that can deactivate it. For what it's worth, she's not the person that implanted Helly's. She claims that Petey wouldn't have died if he just followed her post-op instructions instead of running away. She hints that Mark could also be reintegrated without those same complications. And she does talk to him about his innie some, saying that he's only been severed for 2 years, so his innie's still a baby, and that he
So 2 years of baby for them?
brought him into this world without his permission based on his own desire for emotional convenience. Before they can get too much into that, Grainer does show up.
Yeah, he showed
Mark
up.
doesn't recognize him because his Outies never met him.
Yep.
Before they have a chance to get acquainted, Regabi comes up behind him.
It's
and
out
hits
whooping
him
his
over
ass. Beat his ass to a pulp.
with the baseball bat until he's dead.
Yep.
Of course, this freaks Mark out, and it doesn't help when she explains that he was the head of security on the severed floor. She pulls Grainer's security card out and gives it to him, explaining that it has full access and it can't be tied to anyone. She wants him to take it to work tomorrow, saying that his innie will know what to do with it. And I thought it stood out that she said that I think you want to do what's right, and then added both of you. She did tell Mark not to throw up because of his DNA, and as soon as he makes it outside, he does that.
He did. He throw it up. Yeah.
Which may be something that we need to remember.
So I was saying. So now when they trying to investigate, he's thinking it might be on the scene because he throw it up. So yeah. So next episode it might be it might be that, but we see.
When he goes back home, he strips down to get rid of all of his clothes like she told him, and Alexa is still there. While he was gone, she woke up, realized that he left the house, and he has to make up a story about needing to get out and drive around because he's not comfortable with what happened between them. The next morning, he grabs the key card and puts the plastic bag with his clothes in with the rest of his trash right on top, which kind of seems like a bad idea. We also see Mrs. Selvig on her way out, and she makes a comment about how he usually puts his trash out in the afternoon. Milchek has a big day ahead of him at the office since Harmony is moonlighting over at Devin's place, and Grainer, well, he's not going to be showing up. He checks the new door that's there to keep MDR safely situated, and he retrieves the ideographic card that Dylan stole from O&D. He goes there next to return the missing 7199G and tells Bert that they can now focus on the final preparations, which I was thinking was related to their department's work, whatever they're doing with these cards.
Yeah, he's talking about final. I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
But it's a little unclear because he's also putting together Innie Bert's retirement party, which I suppose you could also call his pre-death celebration.
That's what I'm saying. They basically gonna kill his ass, but they don't want to say that, so they gonna say retirement. They basically gonna kill his ass though, man. Point blank period.
When Dylan comes down, he wants to know what happened when he woke up at his house. It's explained to him that this is called the overtime contingency, which is a safeguard they occasionally employ to wake up workers remotely off-site. Dylan makes it
clear. Got on and off. So you turn your shit on and off.
Clear that the Innies had no idea that they could do that, and then he asks about the boy that he saw, wondering if it's his son. Milchek tells him that he shouldn't tell his co-workers about the OTC.
Shit, wish he did.
And when Dylan presses him for his son's name, he tells him that not knowing is probably for the best. Based on how he looks, it appears that no amount of special perks can take his mind off of it. You see that he's stewing at his desk, Irv is really worried about Bert, and no one feels great about being locked inside their office. Things take a brief turn when Milchek starts the musical dance experience. Helly gets to choose the genre and an accessory, and the musical genre names are hilarious. She goes with the maraca and defiant jazz. There are special lights, and Milchek starts out dancing with Helly, and I don't suppose you could watch this scene without making a comment about how good he is at it. And generally everyone's enjoying this and looks happy, except for Dylan.
Yeah, Dylan boy, he like, tell me one more time for him. He like, he snap, he like, get the fuck on me.
Stayed at his desk, and when Milchek goes up behind him, he looks like he's seething. He starts to see images of his son calling him daddy from the night before, and then he starts to scream.
Look at that face, boy. He ain't nothing. Hey, look. His face right here. He ain't nothing. Yeah, he ain't nothing good. Yeah, he ain't yeah, but hey, he ain't nothing to mess with. No cap. His face right here ain't nothing to mess with right here, boy. See them teeth? Yeah, he took the piece out of that motherfucking skin. Okay.
He gets up and tackles Milchek into the record player and yells, "Tell me his name," over and over as he chokes him. He then bites his shoulder to the point of breaking the skin until the rest of them pull him off. Milchek tries to threaten to report him, but then he realizes Dylan would be happy to go and talk to her about being woken up at home.
Fact, he was like, yeah, come on, I'll be happy to talk.
After he's gone, Dylan tells the others that they can wake them up. He tells them the story, he tells them about the overtime contingency, and says that he keeps reliving the memory, and now he has to have that in his head without ever being able to see him again. Irv tries to say that it's his Audi son, but it doesn't fly. He's completely...
Yeah, but it doesn't fly in his head, though, so he gonna say, yeah, no, this is my son, too.
Pissed off, shit. And Helly decides that this is good, that they can use it. She thinks they should try to find out how they do it and then do it to themselves. They'd be able to get a chance to see the outside world and learn who their Audis really are. The one big problem is they can't get access, and Mark shows them that he has
got a card,
card, explaining that he has no idea why his Audi would have it. Petey had located the office during a fire drill and showed Mark, so he knows where it is. They try the key on the door and it does work, and they leave Dylan there so the rest of them can go to the office together. As soon as they get into the hall, though,
he said, "Fuck y'all, I'm about to see Bert. I want to see my nigga Bert."
Bails because he has to go find Bert. Mark,
Charmin's super mega roll is so big, you don't always have to worry about the roll running out.
I got some money.
This is the Style Master, one tool that helps you choose, change, and master your style.
That's my nigga, man.
Mark and Helly are able to get inside the office, and they find that no one's working inside.
Yeah, that's crazy. Ain't no security guy. They was lying the whole time though, with them. No security guy at all though, man. The only one security guy was Garner. What his name is? Garner, Guard, some shit. But yeah.
Peek behind the curtain, and there's a lot of monitoring equipment that looks custom, if not slightly dated. To me, it looks more analog than digital, but there are computers involved. There's a bunch of displays with employee names.
Well, they look old school too, a little bit.
They have numbers next to their names that change. For the departments, there are several we've never heard of, like CL, WN.
Yeah, I was saying there's more departments too, type shit.
N, W and A, D and R, and a few more.
Yeah.
O and D is noticeably missing on the main wall, and considering that the only MDR employees are the 4 we know that are listed there, it's likely that this list of...
Oh yeah, see the Irvin, Dylan, Hilly, Hadley, and Mark. Yeah.
Over 80 names are all the severed employees from this location. While they're snooping around, they see that Harmony is descending in the non-severed elevator.
Oh, yeah,
so Helly tears out the instructions for the overtime contingency protocol and they leave. When they get back to the office, they look those over and they think that they can probably do it, but one of them is going to have to stay behind. Dylan volunteers since he's been out already, and the only hitch seems to be that it's designed to be a 2-man operation. There are 2 switches they have to flip, but Dylan assures them he can do it. And this does make you wonder who was there to help Grainer.
That's what I was saying. Who was that behind the scenes? Like who was that?
Whenever they woke him up. When Harmony arrives at her office, she finds Natalie there waiting for her with the board on her headset. She explains that Doug Grainer is dead and that the board finds this deeply troubling. Cobell says whoever killed Grainer is probably the same person who reintegrated Peter Kilmer. But she doesn't go any further because she says that integration happened and she has the data to prove it. And she wants to leverage that to get an in-person meeting with the board without intermediaries. They do agree to this and tell her that they'll be available to meet with her at the Egan Family Gala next week. I mentioned that Irv was on his way to O&D to see Bert, and there's a shot with him walking down the hall where he pulls out his mustache comb, and things start to feel like something bad's gonna happen, and it does.
Yeah.
When he arrives, he learns that they're
bye Bert.
having a going away party for
Bert gone.
and that his innie is
Bert
essentially dying. He's being retired.
Yeah.
Milchek wheels in a TV so he can watch a hilarious message from his Audi, and he notices that Irv somehow managed to get out of MDR. The video is awkward, and he continuously mentions how he has no idea about what's happening there, while at the same time saying he will remember them forever. And we do hear him mention that he's been doing the job for 7 years. Obviously, Irv is crushed. The whole world is crushed.
Yeah, he's sad.
This. And he says out loud, "You're all just gonna stand here and let him die." He questions if they're being punished, and Milchek assures him that it's just about Bert's Audi retiring, that it'll happen to him too. And I don't know, it seems like it's pretty weird timing. Irv delivers.
Facts. Nah, they did that because he fucked up at the episode 6. He fucked up. That's why they about to kill him.
The best line of the episode when he says, "You smug motherfucker, you're not."
Yeah, he said, "I like that. That's my dick, dog. That's my dick." He taught his shit, man, on this episode. No cap. He said, "You smart motherfucker. Don't let him die like that, bitch ass nigga."
Severed, you walk out of here with your memories. There's an argument, but Bert convinces Milchek to let him stay. They play the song he selected, "Good Morning Yesterday" by Paul Anka, and everyone shakes his hand goodbye. After he has his turn, Milchek walks Irv back to MDR, and when he gets back to his colleagues, he tells them, "Let's burn this place to the ground."
He mad though, man, because they killed Bert, man. Like, I get my nigga Bert like that, man. They killed the nigga Bert. Bert, man. Goddamn Bert. Goddamn.
And since I already talked about the ending in the beginning, that's pretty much everything that happened in the episode. The one thing I haven't touched on yet, though, was the interaction with Devin and Mrs. Selvig, because I just noticed something after I read the book, and I guess I'm a little bit dim, but it hadn't dawned on me that part of them having funny names like Helly and Petey are related to the fact that their innies are like children. In the book, the main character mentions that her innie was called Peggy, which was a name she hadn't been called since she was a child. And so I was thinking about them talking about how Gabby didn't remember her from the birthing retreat, and her bringing up the idea of her being severed, and it just stood out that she introduced herself as Gabby, which might be an indication that it was an innie that she was talking to.
Yep, I was saying too, like, she got that chip in her head, so they could switch it on and off.
Another stellar episode from my point of view. Last week managed to get me excited for what
She
was
probably
to
do
come.
got shit in her
While
head.
it was one of the weaker episodes overall, sort of a transition, and I think this was an improvement. There were a few things that felt a little too convenient, like the security card, but one of the things I've always liked about this show is its ability to keep
That was a good show though. It was a lot of action on this one. No cap.
me engaged to the point where I'm willing to overlook some things. I think the structure and pace have felt deliberate, and I'm expecting that things will continue to get more intense right up until the very end. It felt like
8 and 9 gonna be it's gonna be a lot of shit going on. 8 and 9. No cap.
we were moving towards revolution. I could have never guessed that they were going to be able to wake themselves up outside, but that sounds like a pretty good way to go. There's a popular theory out there that Helly is an Egan, and she's a member of the family or something along those lines. Although we do know that her last name is Riggs, for what that's worth. But it all comes from her insistence on keeping her innie there. Her inflexibility to let her go even after she tried to kill herself, which, you know, there has to be a reason for that. I'm not sure if it's the case that she's part of the family. I think there's just as many clues that go against it as there are for it. But this mention of the upcoming Egan family gala did make me wonder.
Oh, yeah, they got, They got shit going on.
Considering they have this plan to wake themselves up, and if that happens, that seems like a pretty crazy place for that to go down. As far as other theories, I've never been too keen on the one where they are a part of an experiment, or the severed employees are basically working on themselves. They're editing their code or balancing their four tempers in Kier speak. I think each week that feels less likely, and I don't know what the work is, but after reading the book, I do think it's somewhat important to Lumen. Like, they are actually being productive. I'm not sure it's as nefarious as Peggy K, who was able to get coded messages to her Audi, thinks it is, and I'm not sure we'll even understand what it is by the end of the season. But I do think that the work matters. And if you want to go into wild speculation, which is something I don't generally get into, if there's something to what Peggy's saying, basically she thinks that they're doing corporate espionage. Those cards that were so important, those could be something that you could pass off to severed employees at different companies. Like your competitors, we do know that Lumen isn't the only company in this world that does it, and they could cause a problem.
Yeah,
think about how MDR reacted to reading Rickon's book. If you had this childlike experiential reality that they have, and you had these cards with instructions that could possibly make it through the code detectors, then you might start acting funny. I still feel like we're missing a lot in trying to understand Lumen's motivations. Kier obviously was interested in his personal legacy, his business, and his family legacy that's intertwined with that. We don't know if he was a snake oil salesman that built a giant company, or if he was a weirdo that was trying to create a giant cult, or if he was both. Harmony is part of our connection to that because she seems to be really motivated both inside and out to seeing this dream be realized. I got the sense that she's never been in the presence of the board, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out. Everything that she does related to Mark is just kind of a question, and certainly the reveal that Gemma is Mrs. Casey in some way or another doesn't clear that up for me. The robot theory is looking a little more likely though. I mean, like I said at the beginning, I don't know what's going on there. None of the ideas I come up with sound great. It doesn't mean none of them would work, but they don't inspire confidence. I will say that because Bert and Irv didn't kiss, that this magical relationship that they built up in this season ended with a handshake, I suspect that we're going to see him.
That's what I thought. Nah, I ain't gonna lie. I thought they were gonna kiss and some shit. But nah, they ain't even kiss. They just shook hands and shit.
Again, I've never been a fan of the idea that they know each other in the outside world, but I mean, there is the possibility that they could meet out there. I just feel like it's gonna happen that any Irv will see Bert again. And to be clear, where we left it, that shouldn't be possible if he retired. So at this point, I'm mostly rambling, so I will wrap it up. I think this is probably a good place to leave things. I would recommend reading through the book. There's some interesting stuff in there, and it's short. You can get right through it. I'll put links in the video description. Even if you don't live in the US or don't have an Apple device, you can still read it. So let me know in the comments what you thought about this episode, where you think things are going, what theories are you latching onto, and which musical genre would you pick in the musical dance experience. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.
Nah, but hey, 89 it's gonna be good though. I ain't gonna lie, 89 gonna be crazy. That's all I gotta say though, man. But hey, like it up, sub, and yeah. Alright, peace.